Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ShadeTV. I'm your host, Marissa Hill, and today we're going to be looking at none other than this beautiful Nike Dunk Low Hyper Cobalt Blue. And we're also going to be viewing it in the kids versus adult. So, stay tuned. All right, this is going to be an exciting unboxing and review today, but before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. If you guys didn't already know, as I've been mentioning in my previous videos, 78% of you, that's right, 78% of you who are viewing my videos are not currently subscribed to the channel. It is of no cost to subscribe, so be sure to do that when you have a second, because that's all that it takes to click that button down below. As well as feel free to leave me any comments or questions. You guys don't be shy, hit me down below and I will be sure to comment back to you. Be sure to slap a like on this video as well at the end. It does help the video out, and also hit that notification bell because we have a ton of heat coming out that I don't want you guys to miss out on, as well as our new member perks. Be sure to check out that join button, as well as our new merch store. So today we are going to be going over the Nike Dunk Low Hyper Cobalt Blues. I'm going to be discussing the overview of the shoe. Then we're going to do a nice little comparison of the GS versus the adults. There are some quality issues, so you're going to want to stick around for that. And we're also going to get into some other different variations of blue colorways, starting with the royal toes and also the sisterhoods. We're going to bring those out so you guys can see the differences in between the blue color scheme. And then we're going to talk about styling. I had so much fun styling these shoes. This was just, you know, a nice vibrant color to add to the collection. And then we're now going to, after that, we are then going to conclude with the resale on how these shoes are doing. So let's jump into this. I know you guys have been seeing dunks dropping left and right. It's like, come on, Nike. Can we get another silhouette? Just one new silhouette? I mean, they're overwhelming us with these dunks. I feel like people are going to be tired of it come March if you aren't already. There have been so many colors dropping. It's so hard, honestly, to keep track of how many dunks have dropped. This, unfortunately, was probably my least favorite of all the colorways to have dropped, but thank you to the Nike gods. I was able to get these off of sneakers, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm just happy that I have these two shoes to show you as well as to compare. Anytime that I get a GS size and adult size, I am hoping to, you know, create more content so that you guys can see the key differences between the adult versions and the kid versions. So let's get into this overview, and I'm going to start off showing you the adult version here. We're going to start off with the front of the shoe. As you guys can see, there is a black base that the shoe was designed with. And so we've got that nice black toe box. And on the front, we've got that Hyper Cobalt Blue. This is definitely a soft material. I wouldn't say it's the softest leather, but it is, you know, decently malleable here. And then we've got some just nice blue laces to match in that same Hyper Cobalt Blue colorway. We've then got this nylon tongue that has the black color scheme on it, as well as some accents with the Nike and swoosh mark, again in that nice pop of Hyper Cobalt Blue. And then it's outlined as well in that same accent of the Hyper Cobalt Blue. Now let's take a closer look at it. right, so now moving on to the medial and lateral side panels of the shoe, we are going to just take a look at the underlays of the black leather. On top of that, we've got, again, that just pop of that hyper cobalt blue as the overlays. And again, we've got that nice cobalt blue stitching outlining the swoosh and outlining these other side panels. Then when we move on to the back, we've then got this embroidered Nike that's nicely stitched in a black stitching. Then we've got the varying colors of the black and hyper cobalt blue with some nice leather side paneling on that collar. Then when we go on the inside of the shoe, the inner lining is that pop of hyper cobalt blue. Then we've got, interesting, a orange Nike color scheme for the Nike and swoosh logo on top of a black insole. Now let's just take a look at those side panels and the back of the shoe. All right, now let's finish off the shoe, which is completed with a white midsole and a hyper cobalt blue outsole. And there you have it. That is our Nike Dunk Low in the hyper cobalt blue. Let's take a final look. Now let's get into the meat of it. Let's get into the comparison of the GS version versus the adult version. The first thing that I noticed, we'll start from the toe box, is that the leather is so much stiffer than it is on the adult version. And then when we look at the actual blue on the front of that toe box, it's a different blue. It's not as deep of a blue. It's a lot lighter when you look at it. Then when we move up into the laces are just not that same quality. You can already see that this lace right there, look at that, it's already been snagged. Haven't even, touched the laces or untied them, but it already has a snag on it. So definitely the quality and laces are not the same. Then when we move up the tongue, we've definitely got a thinner tongue than we do on the adult version. It's not as squishy and padded either. Then when we look at the stitching again on that Nike swoosh, it's again a different blue. It's just slightly off with the blue color hue. So now let's just take a closer look with those two shoes side by side. Now let's get into the side paneling detail. Again, the blue is just not the same. This is a more pale blue in tone, and this is just more of a bold blue. And then when we move to the back of the heel counter of the shoe and we look at the actual Nike stitching, I don't know what's going on with the E on the back of this, but it's farther away from the K, and the E on the top extends way farther out than it should. So definitely the embroidery on the back of this heel counter on the kids, it is lacking, and it almost kind of looks like it's a fake Nike. I don't know why that is. But the Nike on the back of the adult is just way higher in quality, and you'll definitely see that it looks like the Nike logo versus the kids version. And then let's see what else we have that are key differences. So the Nike and the swoosh on the insole are a bit smaller, and it looks like the outsole blue is exactly the same, so there's no key difference in there. The only other major key difference that I saw was that these are just definitely more narrow. The adult size definitely is a wider fit. And as far as the boxes go, you're going to notice that the boxes are different. So GS, it's a little bit of a wider box. It doesn't have a lid like the adult does. So if you're a box snob, you will want to know that the boxes just have some key differences. So let's talk about sizing. Typically, I go smaller when it comes to the dunks. I go half a size down, so that is why the kids version actually fits me a bit better, and it's also a bit more narrow, so it feels like it's more snug to my foot. For me personally, I do like to have my shoes a little bit on the bigger, range. So depending on how you like to wear your shoe size, for me personally, I go half a size down. But I would say either stick true to your size or, potentially think about sizing down if you have narrow, thin feet like I do. All right, so I'm gonna bring out real quick as well some other blue hued shoes, starting with the Sisterhoods, and then I'm gonna bring out my Royal Toes, just so you guys can get a kind of idea of the different blue variations that we have here. So this one is definitely not the same blue that we've got going on here. There's just some slight color variations going on here. And so if you are looking for, some specific key matches with either of these silhouettes, just know that it's not the exact tone. And we will get some close-up shots so that you guys can see in detail the key differences between the blue hues in all of these shoes. All right, now let's move into styling. So for the first look, I actually wore my new Fear of God set that I just received. I was able to cop a few items on that restock the other week, and I am absolutely in love with the cement colorway. I really wanted a pair of essential sweats that were just a darker gray, because as you guys know, I love me some black and sometimes dark gray.
I only work in black and sometimes very, very dark gray.
And this was the color I was looking for. It just kind of almost has a brown hue to it as well, but it's got like this charcoal vibe going on, and I just couldn't wait to wear this with a sneaker. So this was by far my first pick for this specific color scheme, which I think it works because this is just a nice base color that's more of a neutral, and I really wanted to just let the shoes pop with that first look. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this new color that I received from Fear of God in the cement colorway, if you like it or not.
I don't know about me, but I know about you, and I got some problems, yeah. I can chill with you, and I got colors blue with a good drink in your head. We've all known don't need a golden goal to reach right now. I wanna see ya, and I wanna take you far. 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 Me biting on your lips in the moment your lips close. You're miss me, yeah. And I won't go to any place alone. I'll stay with you.
And then for the second look, I again wore an essentials piece, but this time I wore my knit hoodie in that off-white color scheme. And then I decided to go with some tapered pants that are a khaki tone. And then I topped that off with a gray trench coat. I really am loving just kind of these natural, simple colors for the springtime, which I think just go great with a pop of color. So I also wore my Supreme beanie that has that same kind of cobalt blue tone in it. I love having just like subtle accents that match my shoes where I don't feel like I necessarily have to have the whole look where I'm wearing all blue. So this is just a great idea if you're somebody who doesn't want to be too matchy-matchy, but you want to throw in an accent that really goes well with your shoes. That's kind of how I did that second look.
You in a zombie story ever together. I don't know about me, but I know about you, and I got something to say. I can chill with you, and the sky comes blue with a good drink in your head. You don't know you don't need a golden goal to reach right now. I see ya. Now I wanna take you far. Now I wanna take you far. Now I wanna take you far.
And for the last and final look, I decided to dress it up a little bit. That dress is from Zara. And I wanted to show that this shoe really can go with a lot of patterns. So that was like a bluish gray hue on the pattern on that dress on top of black. So I felt like it just really played with the tones of this shoe, especially that hyper cobalt blue pop of color just kind of pulls from the grayish blue tones in that dress. I then layered it with a navy coat. Obviously there's blue in the shoe, so I wanted to go with not such an all black look. I wanted to bring a different color of a blue hue into it. And I think it just worked really well. Definitely a shoe that you can dress up and you can also play down.
Now I wanna take you far. 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 Everything I beg you please. Just show me.
So let me know your thoughts down below on what was your favorite pick out of those three.
Gonna escape, dripping in the sound. We can be more. Gotta be so much more, baby. And I never wanna miss it. Every minute, second, every hour of this moment. Wanna be so much more. Wanna feel so much more in this moment. This moment.
All right, so now let's conclude with the resale on how these shoes are currently doing in the market. All right, so the kids or grade school version sold for $85 retail. The adults were $100. My personal opinion after reviewing and comparing the two, I honestly, if you can fit the adults over the grade school version, I would just pay the extra $15 just because of the quality control and looking at the key differences in the materials they used on the grade school versus the material they used on the adults and the color scheme. It's just off. So me personally, like if you really want the legit color scheme, the quality in the embroidery, the quality in the leather, just spend the extra $15 and go with the adults. So now let's get into the actual resale portion of how the grade school shoes are doing currently on the market. They are going between $120 to $185, and the adult version from sizes 7 to 12.5, those are going in between $175 to $200. As far as the extreme smaller sizes and extreme larger sizes, those are doing a bit better. So that's going from $220 to $250, obviously depending on which size range you are looking at. All right, you guys, that is the review and unboxing for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, do not forget to smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up at the end if you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me any comments or questions that you guys may have had on this review and unboxing down below, as well as hit that notification bell because we have a ton of heat that I don't want you guys to miss out on, as well as be sure to check out those membership perks. We've got a lot of amazing tiers that you guys are definitely going to want to look into, as well as our new merch store. So again, this is ShadeTV. My name is Marissa Hill. We will see you on the next video.